Okay. Welcome. This is part 3 of the element series, and today we're going to focus on the fire element. So as you can imagine, this is going to be a warming practice, a dynamic practice, and as always, there's going to be ways that you can move differently, of course, different suggestions. A bit about fire before we begin. Fire in the body, according to Eastern philosophy, is located around our solar plexus. This is also the home of our Manipura chakra. And this chakra, and this part of our body, is responsible for our sense of action and our sense of empowerment and drive and desire. So here we look to work with the fire element in a mindful way to stoke it and also to promote positive transformation by using it in a tempered but concentrated way. So let's begin. Find a comfortable way to sit. You can sit up on a prop or right down on your mat, even with your legs out ahead of you. And then bring some calmness to your body by settling towards stillness. You can close your eyes if you wish and take a slow inhale in through your nose and a long exhale through your mouth. Now move to Ujjayi breathing. So you can just start by breathing deeply and create a gentle toning at the back of your throat. So your breath needs to move a little bit slower through the space of your throat. There's also created a friction, a raspiness, so you can hear your breath. With the inhalation and exhalation, take on a sound that's similar to the ocean at a distance. Keep breathing this way for now. We're going to move soon into Kapalabhati breath, skull shining breath. The breath is created by taking short exhalations out through your nose. It sounds like this. So you're using your fire center to push the breath out through your nose with a small inhalation in between each one. Okay, so the next time you breathe in, make it full. And exhale out all the way. Then breathe in halfway and begin. And release your breath. Okay, a couple deep breaths. Okay. Now, if you're sitting cross-legged, bring your feet out ahead of you and back yourself up on your mat so you've got some space out ahead of you. Place a 90-degree bend at your knees and reach your arms out ahead of you too, so they're parallel to the ground. And then lean back just enough that you feel your abdominal muscles doing some work and draw your belly button towards your spine. We'll maintain that for the most part. Your heels can stay on the ground, or if you feel comfortable, you can also lift your heels up. Okay, so we're going to try Kapalabhati breath again. Take an inhale and an exhale, half an inhale, and begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring your feet down, hands down. As you inhale, lift up through your hips. Your gaze can be forward or up. And as you exhale, bring your hips back down. Your arms ahead of you, flex your feet or raise your feet. Take a full inhale and a full exhale, belly button towards your spine, and then a partial inhale, Kapalabhati. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and feet down, hands behind you. Inhale, lift up your hips. And exhale, come back down. One more time. Boat pose, Navasana, feet down or up, and inhale. A full exhale. Half an inhale. Kapalabhati. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time, hold boat pose. Interlace your fingers, roll your wrists around a few times. Okay, and other way. All right. Shake out your hands, and then bring, if they're lifted, sweep your legs around behind you, come up to your hands and your knees. Spread your fingers wide apart from each other, curl your toes under, roll your shoulders back, and breathe in. As you exhale, hover your knees, draw your tailbone down, a full inhale, and a full exhale, and then half an inhale, Kapalabhati. And release, bring your knees down to the mat. Now walk your knees back a little bit further with your toes curled under, lift your knees up and press your hips back, downward facing dog. Okay, so feel free to add some movement, pedaling out your heels. Let your fingertips claw the mat, kind of like a cat, kneading a surface like a pillow with its paws, with its claws. And then come towards a still shape and downward facing dog to give you time to inhale deeply. And exhale fully. Great. The next time you breathe in, lift your heels up higher. And then bend your knees and look forward. Steps or a hop bring you forward to a halfway lift. And then exhale, bow in. Okay, bend your knees deeply, settle your hips back and down, and then raise your arms forward and up, chair pose Utkatasana. And take a moment to draw your tailbone in a downward direction, your belly button up towards your spine, and lift up through the center of your chest. Let's take 3 deep, slow breaths. More. Okay. Lean forward, bring your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Step your right foot back, take a nice long stride down your mat, and then spin your heel down to the ground. Warrior 1, lift your upper body. Bring your arms up, turn your chest back towards the front of your mat. And just like chair, lengthen down through your tailbone, lift through the center of your chest, and reach up through your arms. Again, let's take 3 steady breaths. Lean forward, take your hands down to the mat, spin your right heel off the ground so you're in a runner's lunge, and then draw your left thigh up close to your chest and draw your heel, your left heel, up towards your sitting bone. As you squeeze your knee in, draw your tailbone down, roll your shoulders back. Let's take an inhale this way. As you exhale, 3-legged dog, press your left heel up and back. Inhale, bring your thigh into your chest, curl in again. And exhale, draw your leg up and back. One more, inhale. And exhale. Okay, this one a little different. As you inhale, bring your thigh up into your chest. But as you exhale, plank pose. So step your feet back. Your knees can be up or down. Take an inhale. Exhale. Half an inhale. Kapalabhati. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and when you exhale, bend your elbows, come right down to your mat. Untuck your toes, take your fingertips wide, finger stand cobra. So get nice and open through your front body. Try to release your shoulder blades down your back so your neck has lots of length in the back side too. And as you hold, even though you're stretching out your front body, still try to lift from your lower belly back to your spine so you're protecting your lower back. And when you exhale again, bring yourself down, curl your toes under. Your knees can be on the mat or lifted. Press up, Chaturanga Dandasana. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back behind you. Next time, inhale, lift your heels up higher. As you exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Steps or a hop can bring you forward to a halfway lift. And exhale, bow in. Bend your knees deeply. Inhale, chair pose. Lengthen your tailbone down. Your arms can be lifted high. You can also bring your hands to your heart when your arms need a break. 3 slow breaths. Lean forward, bring your fingertips down, lift your hips up, then come up to a halfway lift as you inhale. And step your left foot back, place your toes down, spin your heel down, warrior 1, lift your upper body. This is another chance, if you feel better with your hands at your heart, you can place them there. So down firmly through your feet, turn your chest towards the front of your mat, lengthen down through your tailbone, lift up through your chest, give your front body lots of space. From this point, let's take 2 more deep breaths. Okay. Lean forward, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift your left heel so you're in a runner's lunge. Try to keep your right thigh up into your chest. Lift your belly button up, and then draw your right heel up towards your right sitting bone. Bring your shoulders back and away from your ears. Here, inhale. As you exhale, 3-legged dog, press your right heel up and back. And then inhale, come forward, lift your thigh up, and exhale, bring your heel up and back. One more time, and inhale. And an exhale. Okay, now starting the same way, inhale, draw your thigh forward, but as you exhale, plank pose. So your knees can be up or down, roll your shoulders back again, take a full inhale. A full exhale, half an inhale, and begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Bend your elbows to lower, untuck your toes, finger stand cobra. With straight legs, press down through the front of your pelvis, lift up through your chest, settle your shoulders down, let your neck be long. Lift up through the back edges of your ears. And slowly lower your front body, bring your palms down by your ribs, curl your toes under, Chaturanga, so your knees can be down or up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push up, downward facing dog. Okay, take an inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop forward, a halfway lift as you arrive, and then a forward fold. Okay, let's rise to stand, nice and slow, come all the way up to a full stretch, and then bring your arms down by your sides. Okay, close the gap between your feet, come right over the arches of your feet, hug your legs in. As you inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana chair. Keep your legs hugging in, a slow inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart, turn to the left, so your right elbow comes down towards your left thigh or your outer left knee. And then roll your hips back, roll your shoulders back, but try to bring your chest towards the front of the room and the back edges of your ears towards the front of your mat. Your gaze can be sideways, or you can turn up and over your left shoulder. And keep a gentle lift from your lower belly up to your spine, so you're protecting your lower back. And your lower back doesn't really twist too much, and so you're holding it in a more neutral space, letting most of the twist happen higher. Now take a peek down towards the ground.
Shift your weight into your left foot, lift your right heel, and then step your right foot back, take a long stride. Oh, I landed off my mat. And wiggle out your feet so they're hip-width distance apart from each other. A prayer twist, so your right knee can stay lifted, or you can bring your right knee down to the ground. Keep your left hip rolled back, hug your right thigh bone forward, and lengthen out through all sides of your neck. Let's take 3 slow breaths. Stay low to the ground. Carefully unwind, bring your hands down around your left foot. If you have a block, bring a block to the inside of your left foot, and then spin your right heel flat. Move your hips back and gradually straighten out your left leg. And don't worry if it doesn't come all the way straight. So move your left hand back underneath your shoulder, bring your right hand up to your hip, and as you move your hips back, especially your left one, keep hugging it back, turn your chest open towards the right. Triangle pose. And then reach up through your top arm. So stay steady through your feet. Lift your pelvic floor up. Draw your belly back, and your gaze can be sideways or up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand down to your right hip, bend your left knee, and lift your upper body, warrior 2. So you're welcome to open up your stride a little bit further if that makes sense in your body. Bend your left knee over your left heel again. Settle your shoulder blades down your back. And try to keep your left thigh bone strongly turned open. Now, turn your palms up to the ceiling. Reach your fingertips up to the ceiling. Peaceful warrior, exalted warrior, lean towards the right. So as you create this sideways curve through your spine, still lunge down and forward into your left knee. With a continual lift of your lower belly to your spine, protecting the sideways lean of your spine. Inhale, next time, open your arms, warrior 2. When you exhale, circle your arms down around your left foot. A runner's lunge, lift your left foot up and back, 3-legged dog, and then float your left hip higher than your right and place a bend in your left knee. So this becomes a little bit like a back bend, and press your right heel down so your right inner thigh and hamstrings get some stretch too. Now breathe in while your left knee is lifted up. As you exhale, bring your left thigh forward and up into your chest, round your spine. And then inhale, bring your knee up, lift your left hip up, back to 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, bring your knee up into your chest. Okay, one more time with an inhale, lift through your knee, lift through your hip. And exhale, bring your thigh in. Take a peek back at your right foot and spin your right heel flat to the ground. Your left knee can come to the ground underneath your left hip or fall in triangle. Step your left foot wide off the right side of your mat. Make sure your left hand is ahead of your shoulder, and then open your chest towards the right and reach up through your top arm. You're welcome to also turn your right palm forward and extend your fingertips forward and push down really firmly through your right foot. If your left leg is extended, you're welcome to lift your left heel. If that works out for you, you could also lift your left baby toe and hug your left thigh bone back in. Okay. Bring your right hand to your right hip, bend your left knee, place your left knee underneath your left hip, come to all fours, and then sweep your feet to one side and then come to sit with your legs extended out ahead of you. Okay, we're gonna roll onto our backs, so center yourself on your mat and then come to lie down. Okay, so as you lie down on your back, cactus arms, take your elbows wide, and then reach your feet up towards the ceiling. Hug your lower belly down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, try to curl your tailbone off the mat. And then inhale, bring your tailbone back down. And as you exhale, curl it up. Okay, so take this a few more times. The movement is really subtle, so try not to hoist your legs up. Your feet may move just 1 inch or 2 inches or so. The work that we're looking for is that of your lower belly, your pelvic floor. Concentrating low in the torso. Okay. The next time your tailbone comes down, bend your knees so your shin bones are facing up to the sky. Bring your palms onto your thighs, and then hug your thighs up into your palms. Push your palms down into your thighs. Lower your belly button down towards your spine. Okay, inhale as you do this. As you exhale, extend your left heel forward and your left hand back. And then inhale, bring your thigh up to your hand, push in. Great, and exhale, extend back and forth. A couple more times, an inhale and an exhale. One more, inhale and then exhale. Okay, so bring your palm and thigh and then bend your knees more so your thighs come up into your chest. Rock up and down your spine, come up to your seat. Then sweep your legs around again so you come up to your hands and your knees. Now bring your knees quite close to each other, spread your fingers wide, and tuck or draw your shoulder blades down your back. Lift your belly up, press down through the tops of your toes and down through your first knuckle of your feet. Inhale as you are, and as you exhale, lift your knees up. Inhale, stay there. And then as you exhale, try to lift your hips up higher and scoop your belly up towards your spine. Let's hold, but keep breathing. Great. And then bend your knees, slowly come down, walk your knees back a little bit, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. Okay, so we'll hold down dog for the inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees, look forward, steps or a hop, bring you forward up to a halfway lift and into a forward fold as you breathe out. Okay, then come up to stand, a slow rise, a full stretch, and rest your arms down by your sides. Okay, so take a moment to settle. Feel your feet, feel your breath, and the warmth of your body. Step your feet in closer. Again, come over the arches of your feet. Hug your legs in with an inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bend your knees, Utkatasana. Inhale with your hips low. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart, twist towards the right. So bring your left elbow down. That can be onto your right thigh or your right outer knee. So roll your hips back, draw your shoulder blades down your back, and lengthen the center of your chest forward. Your gaze can be turned sideways like your chest is facing, or if your neck's okay for a further turn, it goes up over your right shoulder. And just as mentioned before, a continual lift of your pelvic floor and lower belly up. Okay, now take a peek down to the ground. Shift your weight into your right foot, lift your left heel, and then as you're ready, step your left foot back, take a long stride, and wiggle out your feet a little bit further, wider, apart from each other so you're still steady. And hug your right hip back, hug your left thigh bone forward, push your elbow down into your thigh, and turn again towards the right. And try to draw your upper right arm bone into your right shoulder. Take 3 more breaths. Lighten up your right or your left arm, that'll be. Unwind, bring your hands down, and then take a block or your hand to the inside of your right foot, spin your left heel flat. Start to move your hips back, especially your right hip back, so your legs get straighter, and rearrange your right hand so it can powerfully press down and bring your left hand up to your left hip. So as you move your hips back to lengthen out your spine, turn your chest open to the left, and then extend your left arm up. Try to keep it gentle, lengthening down through your tailbone and extend forward through your chest. Your gaze can be sideways or up towards the ceiling. If you're looking up to the ceiling, turn sideways again. Bring your left hand to your left hip, bend your right knee, lift your upper body, warrior 2.
So if it feels good to extend your stride out, you're welcome to. And turn your right knee forward over your right heel. Take your arms open wide, settle down through your shoulders, settle down through your tongue. And then changing nothing through your lower body, turn your palms up, reach your fingertips up, and then a sideways lean towards the left. Exalted warrior, peaceful warrior. And your gaze can be sideways or up and underneath your right arm bone. Try to lunge forward into your right knee. Keep the fire in the lunge. The next time you breathe in, warrior two. When you breathe out, bring your hands down around your right foot. A runner's lunge. Be firm through your hands, then lift your right foot up and back, three-legged dog. Now lift your right hip higher than your left and place a bend in your right knee. And while we hold for a moment or two, press your left heel down. Be even through both hands. Keep your shoulders at a similar height. So soon there's an inhale. As you exhale, bring your right thigh into your chest, round your spine, lift your left heel up high. Inhale, send your knee up, your outer hip up, and then exhale, thigh into your chest. One more time, an inhale. And an exhale. Okay, so as you hug your thigh in, look back at your left foot, spin your left heel flat so you're firm through the whole sole of your foot now. Your right knee can come underneath your hip or extend your foot off towards the left. Turn your chest towards the left. Make sure your right hand is just ahead of your shoulder. Then either reach up through your left hand or turn your palm forward and extend your fingertips forward. You can keep your right foot on the ground just as you started the pose, or lift your right heel. Or if you feel okay lifting up your right baby toe, hug your thigh bone back and towards your hip. Okay, we're coming towards the end of the pose. Bring your left hand to your left hip, bend your right knee, place your right knee underneath your right hip, come back to all fours, take your feet to one side, come onto your seat, and then move yourself into the middle of your mat. Okay, slowly roll down onto your back. As you meet your back, lift your feet, and cactus arms again, take your elbows wide, turn your feet up towards the ceiling. Here we breathe in. As you exhale, draw your belly button down, lift your tailbone up. Inhale, set your tailbone down. Exhale to lift it up. Okay, keep going, a few more at your own pace. And remember, the amount that you move your feet is not the measure of success in this pose. It's where do you feel this? We're looking for the space between your belly button and pubic bone, and then also some support from your pelvic floor. And the next time your tailbone comes down, bend your knees, your shin bones face up, bring your palms onto your thighs, slide your shoulder blades down your back so you're nice and open through your front body. Create some pressure. We'll keep this pressure sustained at least through your left hand. Inhale. As you exhale, extend your right heel forward, your right arm back. And then inhale, bring your knee up to your hand. And exhale, extend. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, one more time. And exhale, great work. Bring your knees up. Wrap your hands around your knees. Create a little rocking motion up and down your spine. Come up to your seat. Sweep your legs around to one side and then come up to your hands and knees. Be very similar to last time, except this time walk your hands a little bit closer to your knees. Spread your fingers wide. Untuck your toes, press down through the tops of your feet, roll your shoulders back, lift your belly up, and then hover your knees. And you can stay here, lots of weight in your feet, some in your hands, or lift your hips up higher. And if you lift your hips up higher, try to draw the back of your pelvis forward towards the front of your mat. So you're scooping in through your lower belly. And rock your head side to side. Try not to hold your neck in any way of strain. Okay,
then slowly bring your knees back down, down, down. Come to sit back on your knees. Let's just take a moment to get off our hands. So bring your hands onto your lap, palms up or palms down. If your knees need more space, then feel free to sit up on a block and let your shoulder blades descend down your back. Okay. Press down firmly through the tops of your toes. As you inhale, lift your hips, lift your arms. Exhale, fold at your hips. Let's make our way back. Downward facing dog. So bring your hips up and back again and lengthen out through your spine. Okay. Now working from down dog, as you inhale, float your left leg up, three-legged dog, and then step your left foot forward between your hands and spin your right heel flat. So this is another time like triangle. You could bring a block to your inner left foot. If you're comfortable using the ground, go ahead, place your palm there. Now roll your left hip back so you're folded deeply into your left hip crease and bring your right hand up to your right hip. So we're staying quite low in the pose, quite a sideways lean. Try to keep your left knee over your left heel, and then if you're comfortable, bring your left elbow or upper arm bone to your inner left knee. Lift your left hand, bring your left palm up to heart center, and then keep your left hip hugged back, your right inner thigh drawing forward, lift up through your pelvic floor, and then extend your right fingertips towards the front of the room, out and past your ears. Your gaze can be sideways or turn up towards the ceiling. Your right arm back and down, look down, bring both hands down. Lift your right heel so you're facing the mat and take your left foot wider to the left. Move your left hand, well maybe it's still on the inside of your left foot. Keep it there. Lizard pose, bend your left knee. Your right knee can stay up or you can place your right knee down to the mat. And try to settle your front body down towards the ground. You can be on your palms, maybe you bring your elbows onto blocks, or maybe your forearms make it down to the ground. Try to keep your head supported by a long neck, so the top of your head, lengthen it out and past the front edge of your mat. And then lift yourself back up onto your hands. If your right knee is on the mat, tuck your toes, lift your right knee. Walk your hands a little ways forward. This may take a little push off your right foot, Malasana squat pose. Bring both hips down and your elbows to your inner knees, palms together. Okay, so you can take your time in squat pose, or if you'd like to come into crow pose and arm balance, lift your hips up, bring your hands down, step your feet a little bit closer, lift your lower belly up, hug your knees in, and then rock your weight forward onto your hands. Maybe your feet lift away from the ground. And bend your elbows as much as you need to draw your center of gravity forward. Okay. Destination, downward facing dog. If you're in a squat, lift your hips, come back. Maybe you hop back to chaturanga. If you're in crow, move through your vinyasa if you wish. Let's meet in downward facing dog and take a couple breaths. If you're in a squat, maybe a vinyasa would feel good too. I need a moment to breathe. Deep clearing breaths. Okay, so we're moving to the other side. Lift your right leg up, three-legged dog. Step your right foot forward. Spin your left heel flat and move your right hand to your inner right foot. So again, that could be a block or the ground underneath your shoulder. Now try to roll your right hip back, really tuck it underneath you, and then turn your open towards the left. So as you hug your right hip back, draw your left thigh bone forward, lift through your pelvic floor, your lower belly hugs back. This all gives you support to possibly lift your right hand and bring your hand to heart center. So if there is some friction with your inner right leg, that helps to hold you too. Make sure you're not lying on your right thigh, that there's a little bit of space, and then extend your left fingertips forward. Your gaze can be sideways or an upward turn. Do make sure you're breathing. Fiery deep breaths. One more. Right. And then Look down, bring your hands down, come to a runner's lunge, walk your right foot wider, turn your toes out a little wider than your heel. This is for lizard pose. Your back knee can be up or down. Lean your upper body forward. Actually bring your front body, hips, torso closer to the mat. Find support from the ground, maybe through blocks. And keep your neck steady. The top of your head reaching forward. Breathe into your right inner thigh. Away from the ground, come back up onto your hands. If your left knee is on the mat, lift your left knee up. A little bend in your left knee to help you step forward, Malasana. If you know you're coming right into crow pose, no need to lower your hips. You can just step your feet back a little bit, bring your feet closer, palms down. So Malasana, squat, or crow pose. Hug your knees to your upper arm bones, lift your lower belly up, bend your elbows enough to draw your center of gravity forward, and then lift your feet. And if your feet lift with a fair bit of ease, try to hug your heels up towards your sitting bones and then make your arms a little straighter. And again, down dog, your journey. Wow. Okay, so deep breath, inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to come onto our seat. So that can be putting your knees down. If you'd like to try hopping through, bend your knees, look forward, and feet forward. Okay. So, as you come to sit, you can sit on the front edge of something soft if you like. That helps just give you a little bit of a helping hand in staying upright. Now we're going to work in a series of stages towards an arm balance, but it doesn't mean you need to take the arm balance. It's working where you feel comfortable. There'll be hip openers along the way. First, lean back into your hands, bend your left knee, lift your right foot, figure four. So bend your right knee, open your knee sideways, and if there's room to walk your hands up towards the back of your hips and sit up a little higher, you're welcome to. Your spine long and lifted. Keep your right foot where it is for now, but start to inch your left foot forward, forward, forward. Enough that you can take your right foot off. Bring your foot to the ground for a moment. Straighten out your left leg all the way. Now lift your right foot up. Take your foot wider to the right so you can take your arm in the inside of your right foot and grab a hold of the outer edge of your right foot. Lift up through your chest and then lift your heel towards the height of your knee. Draw your thigh bone back and draw your chest forward. Thinking of lizard pose, very similar, except you're upright now. So you can stay as you are, or bring your right heel directly out ahead of you, and then take your left hand around your outer right foot. So your right arm's now free. Send your right arm down through the middle of your leg and your foot. Just bring your fingertips down for a moment. Rock into your left hip and try to snuggle your right shoulder down, moving down underneath your calf muscle. If you can bring your calf muscle just over the top of your shoulder, that's very helpful. And then bring your right palm down just in front and just to the side of your right hip. And get nice and firm through your hand. Keep your right foot lifted, but your left hand comes around to match your right hand. Draw your right leg and your right arm close in towards each other. So you're really sealing in this connection. Push down through your left heel, lift your hips. See how that goes? If that goes okay, lift your left heel. If that goes okay, bend your right knee nice and tight. Take your left foot over your right leg and then push your feet off to the side. Bend your elbows. And you come into kind of a chaturanga kind of shape. Ashtavakrasana. Okay, and then lift your chest, hips down, feet out ahead of you. Come out of whatever pose you found yourself into and roll your hands around. Ashtavakrasana pose. It means 8 angle pose. Go ahead and count them.
too many for me to feel. Okay, so let's start figure 4 on your left leg. Take the sole of your right foot to the ground, your outer left foot to your right thigh. Move your left knee away from you. Bring your fingertips just behind you and walk your hands up towards your hips if you choose, but try more importantly to keep your spine long. And just to remember, even before we move, that you're welcome to stay with any of these variations throughout the duration of our journey here. Okay, so keeping your spine long, inch your right heel forward enough that you can bring the sole of your left foot to the ground, straighten out your right leg all the way with your toes turned up, and then lift your left foot, take your hand to the inside of your foot, half happy baby pose from seated. Lift up through your chest and hug your left thigh back. So you're coming again into that lizard pose-like shape. And there's lots of work through your back muscles to keep you up so you're not hunching in, drawing forward. So you can stay just like this, or move your left heel out ahead of you, bring your right hand around to your right outer foot. So your right arm helps to keep your foot lifted. Take your left fingertips in the keyhole, down in front of your hip, lean a little into your right hip, and that's going to give you perhaps some space to snuggle in and try to bring your left knee, the back of your knee, over your shoulder. Now place your left palm down. The most important connection in this pose is the back of your left arm and your left inner thigh. Really hug those in towards each other. Let go of your left foot, bring your right palm down too. Push through your right heel, belly back, lift your hips up. If that goes okay, bend your left knee more so your foot gets lower and lift your right foot up onto your left outer foot. So you can stay as so or push your feet over towards the side and bend your elbows, thinking a chaturanga-like pose again. Really sitting into your left upper arm bone. And then chest up, hips down, your feet out ahead of you. Oh my, let's roll into our back. Okay, so take yourself down and back. And move your knees side to side a few. Just a few rocking releases. Okay. After all that curling in the front body, we're going to come into a reclined back bend. So you can take your pick, whether that'll be bridge pose or wheel pose, or reclined back angle. Feet up towards your bones. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Bend your elbows, point your fingertips up. Press down through your feet, the backs of your arms, lift your hips up. And if you plan to hold bridge pose, your arms can stay like this or bring your hands down, clasp your hands if you like. If you'd like to take it to wheel, then take your hands up by your shoulders, push down through your feet, your hands, come onto the top of your head, and you can stay there or lift your hips up. Come out of your back bend. If it's wheel, look up to the ceiling. If it's bridge, slowly roll down through your spine. Let your hips reconnect. If you're in bound angle, bring your knees in towards each other. Bring your knees up in towards your chest. Okay, we're gonna finish off with a reclined twist. So bring your feet down, open your arms out wide. Shift your hips a little off to the right. Guiding into a one knee twist, you can take it differently if you like. Straighten out your left leg and then move your right knee down towards the left. And maybe a block comes underneath your shin bone or your knee. And try to roll your right hip towards the front of your mat so your hips are stacked. And roll your right shoulder back and down towards the ground. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling or turned away from your left knee. Your head is turned, bring it back up. Lift your right knee slowly, bend your knees, bring your feet down, lift your hips with a long spine, carry your hips over towards the left. Stretch out your right leg, lift your left foot, and bring your left inner knee down towards the right. And again, this could be
your inner shin bone resting on a block or your inner knee or the ground, and roll your left hip towards the front of your mat, again to get the sense that one hip is stacked over the other, and then roll your outer left shoulder back. Your gaze can be up or turn towards the left. Is turned, bring it back up towards the ceiling, press down through your arms to help lift your right leg, or sorry, that's your left leg. You know what I mean. Bring your hips back to center, bring your knees in towards your chest, so a little balancing action for your spine, side to side, maybe a little bit of movement. And then Shavasana. So kind of like you spread embers on a fire, so the fire goes out. Try to spread your body down across your mat onto the floor around you. Let yourself lay in the afterglow of your practice. Press your feet forward. As you release your breath, release your body. Bend your knees. Roll over onto your side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Moment to lengthen out your spine. Bring your palms together to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.